This is James Holder for iFILM London. We're at the Grosvenor Park Hotel today in London for the announcement of the Matchroom show on the 9th of March at Wembley Arena. Announcing the show, the main man, Mr. Eddie Hearn, all right?
How you doing, mate?
All right, looking very dapper today.
Just a little bit dressed down today. It's nice to be interviewed by you rather than Cougan Cassius.
I always think that as well.
And nice to see you put a few pounds back on after your fight.
Indeed, I think I've gone up to about 14.4 now.
Well, you did look like you had some kind of venereal disease.
My mum was calling me anemic.
Yeah, so it's nice to see you looking healthy.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm not going to talk about all the other shows that have been going on. Obviously, my Sri Lankan friends well documented that. Could you tell us a little bit about today?
This show, March the 9th, London's finest. It's a celebration of all the top fighters in London that we look after. Darren Barker, Lee Purdy against Carson Jones, Danny Connor against Chris Evangelou, Eric Ocheng, John Ryder, Larry Eckendale, the prize fighter champion, moving over, fighting under the Matchroom banner, Martin J. Ward, Wadi Camacho, to name a few. It's going to be a good night, Wembley, 9th of March, £20 the tickets will start from.
Throwback prices.
It is, I just think it's a big arena, we're setting up for about 6,000, so let's have it full. Let's start the tickets at £20. You're going to see about 10 fights, loads of classic fights, and have a great night. And, people coming off the back of Christmas. Loads of fights going on at the moment. You've got Frank's show a week after ours as well. You've got Froch Kessler will be coming up soon. It's not going to be cheap. So, come along for 20 quid and have a great night.
I love a bargain. Where will I be sitting for my £20? Am I right up in the eagle eyes? Where am I? Tell me.
Oh, you won't actually be in the arena. You'll be... we're going to just put some seats outside, but we're going to put a nice telly up and you can watch it, but you should be able to hear some stuff through the walls. No, listen.
I've had it off.
I think we've got about 600 seats available at 20 quid. They'll probably go today or tomorrow, but they're just in the corners of the arena. So obviously they're not going to be ringside seats, but good views. Everything's a good view in Wembley Arena. Good atmosphere. I think we've got a lot of big ticket sellers on the show. A lot of big fights. Obviously you've got the top level. Darren Barker, his opponent will be announced next week. Purdy Jones is a classic, but even down to Connor against Evangelou for the southern area, brilliant fight. Yeah, and Ryder in a big fight, and a lot of locals, big ticket sellers. It's going to be a good night.
Must feel great to have dazzling Darren Barker fighting again.
Yeah, like I said, it feels like a new signing. Darren was our first signing officially under the Matchroom banner when we moved back into boxing. So, and he's a good friend of mine as well. And after the Ali Pali pull out, he sort of decided that enough was enough. I think he decided to quit the sport. And I just said to him, listen, even if you do it from a selfish point of view for your family, you've got to provide for them. This is the only profession you can work in where you're that talented enough to take big money away, chunks of money every time you fight. So even if you've lost your love for the sport, be selfish and do it for your family. And I think that hit home, but then he rediscovered his love for the sport, and in the Kerry Hope fight he really rediscovered his love for the sport, and he's got a new buzz about him now. I said to him, look, stay injury free, we'll get you out every 2 or 3 months. And now we've done that. He's back out 3 months just under after his last fight, and he's buzzing again. Another big payday. And we're looking for an opponent at the moment. We're looking at Zinzuric, Vera, Ayala, Mora, that kind of fringe level world fighter that he can get the confidence back, have a good tough fight with, and then move on to that big fight in the summer.
Do you think if he stays injury free we can see him fighting in that elite level again?
I think so. I think he's one fight away. After the Martinez fight, that's where he was so unlucky. One more fight off the back of the Martinez loss and he would have fought for another world title. He had the injuries, he wasn't able to do that, but he's fought Kerry Hope. Everyone's talking about him again. Now he'll have a fight against a decent name. I'm sure he'll look fantastic again, and he'll be putting himself right back into levels. When you take a fight like that against Martinez and you do so well, HBO talk about you. They still talk about Darren Barker. How's Darren doing? He's lovely. Yeah, we'd love to have him back on. Obviously Sky Sports love him, and he's got a huge fan base as well. So there's a huge future for Darren Barker in the game. He's got to keep winning. He's got to stay focused and driven. But, he's a likeable guy. People like to get behind him, and I think he's a huge talent. I really do. And I think he's finding his strength. And, the Andy Lee fight, the Martin Murray fight, the Macklin fight, they're the kind of fights that I think can happen in the summer if we can't get a world title shot. And the middleweight division is tricky at the moment. But, everyone would like to see those 3 fights. And I think sooner or later they're going to happen.
Another fight I would like to talk to you about is obviously the Lee Purdy versus Carson Jones fight. This fight got pulled on the Matchroom Christmas Cracker for whatever reason. Dean Burns stepped up, saved the show. By all counts, whooped Carson's ass. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite say that. I thought Dean Burns just nicked it, to be honest with you. I thought he boxed beautifully. It's difficult I don't want to take anything away from Dean Burns, but Carson Jones was expecting a 12-round war with Lee Purdy, who likes to come forward and fight, and then he ends up, we offered him, we said, look, you can go home, or we'll give you a fight. If you want, you've trained for 12 weeks, don't waste it. And that's what they wanted to do. He boxed Dean Byrne, and Dean boxed beautifully and moved and frustrated Carson over 8 rounds. And, you know, I thought Dean probably just nicked it, but it was a draw. And you can expect a different Carson Jones against Lee.
I was going to say that. Do you anticipate the same Carson Jones that came to fight Kell Brook?
No, I mean, yeah, I do, against Kell Brook. But also, styles make fights. Lee Purdy comes forward, he'll walk you down, and so does Carson Jones. So Lee Purdy against Carson Jones is going to be an absolute war, because that's how they like to fight. You know, Dean Byrne's a very clever boxer, likes to move, he frustrates you, and that's what he did against Carson Jones, who looked very flat, who looked like a guy who was supposed to be in a big fight, and then got told that he wasn't in a big fight, but still went into the ring, you know. But I think that the Jones against Purdy fight, which was always going to be a classic, will be an absolute barnstormer, and a candidate for the fight of the year, I really do.
Dean Byrne's post-fight interview, while we're on the subject, one of my favourite interviews of last year. If you did get a chance, watch that. Genius.
Nice plug for one of your interviews there.
It's actually the Sri Lankan, funny enough.
Do your interviews get as many views as the other fella?
Do you know what? It depends on who. I don't think it's presenter. I think it's on who the interviewer is. So, for instance, you're quite popular on YouTube, as we've grown to see. So this might get a couple of thousand. Yeah.
Maybe there's another HEARN, who's quite famous and popular, who people just type in to see and then end up seeing me.
With a middle name Cornelius.
Cornelius, yeah.
Does it worry you when I call you Cornelius? Do you like it? What?
It only worries me that people might actually think that my middle name is Cornelius. But
drop it really serious as well.
Yeah, but I quite like it. Cornelius. I mean, Cornelius Bowes-Redd is one of my favourite fighters and now a great trainer. Quite like Cornelius.
Confession for you. I upload our videos to the website, not to the YouTube, and most of your videos are labelled Edward Cornelius HEARN.
I know, I've seen it, yeah.
What do you think about it?
I'm not over the moon, to be honest with you, but if that's the way that you entertain yourself these days, James, then I'm happy to let you crack on, son.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On that note, we're going to leave that there. Excuse me.
What's happening about your boxing career? Because I don't know if you've seen it. Is it Iron Horse?
Iron Horse, that would be right.
That's your nickname. Had his first fight. I got to say,
my moniker.
I watched it. Not bad.
It was a tough night's work, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I mean, I was quite impressed, to be honest with you. Anyone who's got the nuts to get in the ring was quite impressed.
Do you know where it was? They called out Iron Horse. My intro song, the Google Me song, comes on. I'm feeling confident, you know what I mean? A bit of shadow boxing. Get into the ring, they call out the next guy, Mr. John Emery. Whole arena goes mad. That's when I knew it was bad time.
Yeah, he looks like a bit of a lump as well. He looked like he had a bit of a weight advantage over.
It was a bit of a lump. I would have put him in Coogan's category, to be fair.
Who's the bloke who was screaming for you at ringside, like, throw the jab, left hook, right hand?
I think that might have been Frank the Shank, Frank the Shank.
Yeah. No, but it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think
the referee calls us to the centre of the ring. He's right, grabs us by the shoulders. He's like, right, boys, there's no winners, there's no losers here. Go and have a move about. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. So I've come out, throw a couple of jabs, you know what I mean? Fucking John Emery, boom, 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 boom. Nearly knocked my head off, didn't he?
Controversial draw.
Controversial draw. Like I said before, I thought I won every round. I thought I outboxed him, and boxing man's kind of fire, really.
Yeah. I did watch the fight. He was robbed, the other fella, absolutely robbed.
John Emery, we're just going to leave it there, all right? When I learn some defence, we might take it up again. Who knows?
All right, mate.
This is James Holder with Edward Cornelius HEARN for iFILM London. Thank you very much.